Dear Chairman, Boardroom Battles and the Rise of Shareholder Activism by Jeff Gramm provides an in-depth look into the history and evolution of shareholder activism, illustrating how investors have influenced corporate governance in America over the decades. Gramm uses letters written by activist investors to company boards as a narrative framework, offering insights into the power dynamics between shareholders and corporate executives. The book reveals how these engagements shaped the modern relationship between ownership and management, with profound implications for the broader economy. The book begins by introducing the concept of shareholder activism, explaining its roots in the changing dynamics of corporate ownership. Gramm emphasizes that shareholder activism emerged as a response to the misalignment of interests between corporate managers and owners. Historically, managers often prioritized their personal goals over shareholder value, leading to inefficiencies, mismanagement, and underperformance. Activist investors sought to correct this imbalance, advocating for better governance, accountability, and strategic direction. Each chapter of the book is centered around a significant episode of shareholder activism, showcasing the strategies and personalities of notable activists. Gramm dives into the story of Benjamin Graham, often regarded as the father of value investing, and his campaign against Northern Pipeline in the 1920s. Graham's efforts to unlock value for shareholders through asset redistribution set the stage for future activism. This case highlights how activists use financial acumen to identify undervalued assets and push for reforms that benefit shareholders. Gramm then examines the rise of corporate raiders in the 1980s, such as Carl Icahn and T. Boone Pickens, who leveraged hostile takeovers and proxy battles to reshape companies. These activists gained notoriety for challenging entrenched management and demanding changes ranging from board composition to strategic overhauls. While critics accuse them of short-termism and greed, Gramm argues that their actions often exposed inefficiencies and forced companies to adopt more shareholder-friendly policies. A central theme of the book is the tension between short-term and long-term goals. Gramm explores cases where activists demanded immediate changes, such as asset sales or dividend increases, to realize quick returns. In contrast, other activists focused on long-term improvements, such as restructuring or innovation, that aligned more closely with sustainable growth. He highlights how companies often resist activist demands, fearing disruptions to their strategies or corporate cultures. This push-and-pull dynamic underscores the complex relationship between shareholders and management. The book also delves into the legal and regulatory environment surrounding shareholder activism. Gramm explains how changes in securities laws and corporate governance frameworks have influenced the tactics available to activists. For example, the introduction of proxy rules and increased transparency requirements made it easier for shareholders to coordinate campaigns and hold boards accountable. Gramm explores how these developments empowered investors to challenge the status quo and exert influence over even the largest corporations. Gramm provides a nuanced perspective on the impact of shareholder activism, acknowledging both its benefits and drawbacks. On one hand, activism has driven improvements in corporate governance, efficiency, and shareholder returns. Activists have exposed fraud, waste, and mismanagement, forcing companies to operate more transparently and responsibly. On the other hand, Gramm critiques instances where activism prioritizes short-term gains at the expense of long-term stability, such as excessive focus on stock buybacks or dividend payouts. One of the book's strengths is its storytelling. Gramm brings each activist and campaign to life through detailed narratives and vivid anecdotes. He examines Warren Buffett's early activism at Sanborn Map Company, where Buffett used his investment acumen to push for changes that unlocked significant value. Gramm also recounts the fight between Ross Perot and General Motors, a clash that highlighted the challenges of balancing shareholder demands with managerial autonomy. Gramm doesn't shy away from controversial topics, such as the role of activist hedge funds in modern markets. He examines how hedge funds use sophisticated strategies and significant capital to influence corporate decisions, often provoking debates about their motives and effectiveness. The book provides a balanced view, showing how hedge funds have both contributed to and complicated the landscape of shareholder activism. In the final chapters, Gramm reflects on the future of shareholder activism, considering how trends like environmental, social, and governance (ESG) investing are reshaping the field. Activists are increasingly targeting companies on issues beyond financial performance, such as climate change, diversity, and labor practices. Gramm argues that these developments represent an evolution in the role of shareholders, who now see themselves as stewards of not only financial capital but also social and environmental outcomes. Throughout the book, Gramm uses primary sources, including letters and public records, to provide an authentic and engaging narrative. He combines historical analysis with practical insights, making the book valuable for investors, executives, and anyone interested in corporate governance. The letters themselves serve as a fascinating glimpse into the minds of activist investors, revealing their strategies, motivations, and negotiating tactics. In conclusion, Dear Chairman is a compelling exploration of the power struggles and negotiations that define shareholder activism. Jeff Gramm masterfully traces its evolution from Benjamin Graham's pioneering campaigns to the sophisticated activism of today's hedge funds. The book underscores the importance of shareholder rights and corporate accountability while offering a nuanced view of the challenges and controversies surrounding activism. It is an essential read for anyone seeking to understand the dynamics of modern capitalism and the forces shaping corporate America.